All right, this is my Milwaukee Pack Out mobile tool cart. So I do have another set of Pack Out boxes, like the original Pack Out before they came out with these slide out drawer series. So I do have that original setup, and initially I went for that. I have a video that I did on it, and then I tried to incorporate the old one with these, and I just found that yeah, that's really not suitable for convenience. Because for one, you gotta unpack. If you have a huge stack of those pack outs, you gotta unpack each of those, which is pretty easy. It's I mean, you know how the pack out system works. It just usually has these latches, and they release, and then they just, well, using two hands, they snap back in place once you align the things, the slots. So I have a couple projects at my storage unit, and so if you've watched any of my toolbox tour videos in the series, you see I have a massive collection of tools at home, but I don't want to bring this stuff there because really I rather work at home. That's where, that's where the family is. That's where the kids come around. That's where I can just drop what I'm doing and run inside and, pay attention to them and do all that stuff. So the idea is if I'm working on a project or something, I can pretty much shop for my tools in my own garage, throw it in there, and then throw it in my Tacoma in the bed, and take it to the storage, which is only like, a straight line distance is probably like, I don't know. Straight line distance, honestly, is probably 0.5 miles. Following the road, it's probably 1.3 miles. So, yeah, it's pretty close. And so I can, I don't want to bring stuff to there and leave stuff. Yeah, I can leave this stuff for a day or two or whatever. I don't necessarily need to bring it back each time I'm using it. But it's definitely not meant to stay there. You get what I'm saying? I can bring it, it's mobile, right? And it's mobile because, well, I have a dolly for it. So this pack out system has a dolly system. I'm not gonna go into details about the dolly system, but it does have a couple storage pockets there. So if I had a long pry bar, which I don't have my long pry bar, if I have a long ratchet, I can just drop it in here and drop it down there. It's not the most secure, or you can just use those trays at the bottom for something else. The only thing I don't like about it, like if you really stack your pack out system and weigh all these boxes down, I don't like this deflection away from you're pretty much putting a lot of strain on that lower ball, or like that joint right there. So highly recommend just grabbing the top box and pulling as you're pulling on the handle backwards. Otherwise, it wheels around just fine. Granted, I've only done it in the garage. So without drawing out this video too long, I think I have, so my thought process, yeah, being mobile. I thought about getting a US General roll cart, but again, I won't be able to like load that stuff in my truck, take it back here to the house, whatever. Because the tools that are going to go in here, they're not going to be permanently in here. The idea is I can take stuff out, put stuff in. There's general stuff that's going to stay in there, like a couple screwdrivers and, a knife or something, but a ratchet. But generally speaking, the more specialty stuff are going to eventually get swapped out as the need arises. And also, like I did not as of yesterday, today's what, Saturday? I did 2 days ago. I needed to go somewhere, and I just broke this down in sets of 2, and I just stacked it in the back of my Tacoma on the back seat of the double cab there. Partly because I didn't know if it was going to rain or not, so I didn't want to risk the chance of having these out, just getting rained on for no reason when I could put them inside. But I think they're waterproof, so it shouldn't really be a factor. I got to look that up, but nonetheless, yeah. So I'll just show you what I got in there, and So I'll just tell you what I got, overview, and then I'll show you what I have in there already, which is really no rhyme or reason. I mean, there's a rhyme or reason, but so I got a light. You always, I mean, you can never have too much light. So in my pack out system, let's just go from the bottom. First of all, I just put it back together just for this video. I took it out of my truck. Normally, I would put that big drawer at the bottom, and you'll see the stuff that I have in there. It doesn't really make sense for how it's stacked. Those two drawers, they're at the very bottom. Then I do 2, 3, and then 4. So it's basically flipped. And that's just, you know, how my brain works, I guess, and how it looks best. In a perfect sense, I would have this box right here would be considered 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just wanted to have some kind of symmetry to it, but it makes sense. I'll show you why it makes sense to have that up top in a second. And then I have a smaller box right here, right? And then the M18 charger with the light system. So like I said, you're gonna need lights anywhere you go. And these lights, I like them because, I mean, you can, well, I guess you gotta go that way. But you should be able to get light just about anywhere you are. And also something I noted, so the back of the cart is that way. I could be pushing this direction or pushing that direction, whatever direction. You can angle it down and, you know, light your path. So, and then something about these lights, I like that the lenses, they fold inward, so to protect them. It has another one right here. So that's great also. It's like a 270 degrees, I want to say. I'm not sure. It does have a battery compartment here, which, to be honest, I haven't actually tried this light. I probably should. But my M18 batteries are in the shed. I should have done that today and just leave one in there. But it also acts as a charger. And this affects the brightness. Whatever. I'm not sure. But if you don't have a battery in here, you could just store your cell phone in here or something. Just your cell phone and your keys. And actually, with your batteries installed, depends on the size, you should still have space on here to throw, you know, keys and your cell phone, just so you don't lose it. So that's a great idea, especially when you're just, you know, on the go, just to keep accountability for your stuff. So that's probably what I'll do. You know, once I get to the storage unit and I'm working on something, I can just pop this open, you know, throw my my keys in there, or you can just toss it on top. Really, doesn't make a difference. But that's just an idea. And then just to continue with the light, just real quick. And then it has another light on this side. So it's a light and charger. So yeah, so you can light your path or light your work area. And then in here, okay, here we go. In here, this compartment here is where you're gonna have your, I'm trying to show you, but my tripod here. Down. I apologize about the light from the garage, but there you go. You got a USB power. That's not a button. Did that pop out? I'm not sure what it is. Looks like it should be 2 USB, but and that's right here is where you can like plug it in to charge the battery that's already in there. So that's cool. Have to like rely on battery power. You can actually plug it in to charge the battery and produce light. So with this setup here, it only makes sense that there's nothing on this side. It's just Milwaukee. So it has to be on well, the left side in this setup to have access to this light. So I just found it out just by placing it over here a second ago and then realizing, well, the light is in the way and it's all the way at the bottom, so you're not going to be able to put another little tray on the side and get to this light. So, and then obviously it has a carrying handle and it just clips off, and then you can stack something else on top, right? So like eventually like this, I can probably put it on top. There you go. So if I want to make this more, you know, user-friendly or, you know, whatever, put something on top. I don't know that I will. Maybe I will, you know. This stuff is very modular, and you go to the Home Depot and next thing you know, you see something. Also, this right here, just a see-through box with some bins in there. Literally, this is just for bolts and nuts and stuff. If I'm working on a project like this, oh man, what is this from? Oh, this is from a lawnmower I'm working on. See, too many things going on, so I threw it in there. But yeah, just places to throw, like, you know, nuts and bolts as you're working on stuff. So that's what I'll use that for, just as a bolt bin to when I'm working on stuff. Keep it, and I mean, the thing just, it stays open. I can push that lid all the way back, or if I don't have enough space behind me, it will just stand up. So for now it will. So I like that. I'm not opposed to getting a second one of these and stacking it on top of here. It's just, I'm 6'2", so I can still kind of see and I can feel and I can reach, but I would say this is as high as I want to go with this whole pack out system. And it's, like I said, this isn't a permanent solution. This is just a mobile solution. All right, continuing on here. So, like I said, you go Home Depot and you see this stuff and you're like, well, damn. So this is like, I don't know what they call it, or sorry, this, but has a lift up tab right here, and the door just slides up and out of the way. Obviously, if you're at the bottom, you'd have to like stoop down. I mean, you still have to stoop down, right? But I feel like this for me is more so for cans and paper towel. Like I had paper towel in there earlier, towel, just more bulky stuff, right? Adjusting my camera. So, and I can drop my tower light here. Yeah, so it's just for more bulkier stuff. So eventually I'll be able to take these out, or I'll leave them in there, you know, because in fact I'm gonna add a M18 with a M12 charger. I just threw this in there. DeWalt, because I have DeWalt also. So it's just really modular, you know, my M18 inflator. Throw it in there. Some of the projects I have, I need some starting fluid, some battery cleaner, and battery corrosion preventer. So it's just bulk, paper towel, all that stuff. That's what I had in there earlier. So you can toss it in there, and you know, that is stuff that you're standing up and you can reach. Paper towel, you know, you don't have to bend down and grab each of them each time. And then this just pops back out and it closes. It does have a keyway right here for a padlock, so you can lock it. And then again, you can just pop this lever and slide it out. Something that you'll notice about this, which I thought was maybe I just had a bad one. If you look at all these pack outs, it has this side rail, the side guard. If you notice, this box does not have a any type of reinforcement guard. And I'm not sure why they did it like that. If someone knows, let me know, but that's kind of odd. But then I looked on Home Depot's website and they all showed that. So that's kind of strange that they didn't add these side guards. Because they kind of serve as a handle somewhat, but either way, it's still functional. Then these are the drawers, right? So slide down. I just went with, I don't realize they have the 2, the 3, and the 4 drawer configuration. So I just grabbed one of each, just because you just never know what you're gonna put in there. Of note, you can see this top one has this thing that's latched in place. So all it is a, you flip down and then you push back, and then it locks in place. So these things can't just slide out, you know. They have a positive lock, and then you can put a padlock on here to lock this thing in place for security. If you notice the one down there, you don't see the handle. Well, you see the handle sticking down, right? And the next one on the bottom, this handle is nowhere to be found, right? And that's because you can do this, just leave leave it hanging down, or you can actually secure the handle by sliding it in out of the way. And it probably acts as an extra handle to lift on. I wouldn't lift on just in case it slides out, because it's not really positively locked. So let's just look and see what I have in there. So I'm still working on my forklift. Well, I say I'm working on it. I have not touched it in a while, but it's there. It has some, I want to do some electrical work on the starter stuff. So, well, caveat, I have several projects, and there's a reason why I have all these tools. So I'll just tell you what the tools I have, and I mean, eventually you'll see me tinkering around with these projects. I have a OTC remote starter, because the ones I have are crap, the ones by someone else. I have a put that up there. Like I said, I took it on a road trip, and I took my my little scan tool from Autel. It came as a freebie with my Maxis Ultra. Now, case in point, these pull out all the way flush, but they don't there's no lock-in positive tab, so they'll want to slide back in. Say you're on like a slope, sloping away from you, they're going to slide back in, so that could be annoying. Test light, OTC, what is this, 3633, like I said. This stuff is just for random projects that I have going on, and I started building it out. So, be able to think, obviously, if I'm just working in the engine bay, I probably don't need axle, well, depends on what you're working on. If I'm working in an engine bay, I don't need, I'm trying to think of a random tool. I guess you could use any tool in an engine bay. If I'm working in an engine bay, I might not need, brake calipers or something. I don't know. You get the point. This is my Flare thermal multimeter. And this is a DM166. They have a more high-end version to this. So I had this over there, so it's kind of dirty, but when you're working on stuff, then stuff gets dirty. You might not have time to clean it up afterwards. I probably swap this out with an older one, or a less nice unit, I guess. And then my temp gun, my Flare temp gun, the TG267. It takes a while to come online. So I'm just doing this just because I've already been doing a toolbox tour, and I might not have shown these. So right now it's saying that box is 66, 63, which is accurate for the temperature outside. So this is one of the deeper drawers, right? So you can see it. This is why I have some more. My Klein, what's this? A DM900. What is? Oh, CL800. Amp clamp. So got some electrical stuff to troubleshoot. So these will be coming in handy over there. And then I think this is I came back and I swapped out. Okay, yeah, so I can actually remove that multimeter, because I have this this one in here, and it actually has an amp clamp on it, but I'm not sure how well it works. But this is a Electronic Specialties 585. And then, because on the little Polaris thing, the small battery was so hard to get to, I figure I'll just grab one of these just so I'm not shredding my hands trying to get to that battery, which I got to reinstall and see what's up with that thing. So that's why I have that. So again, part of the process is thinking about the problem set that you have and what tools you need to potentially go after it. And then I'm not gonna have everything right. I'm gonna show up over there, and this is working on my own stuff. This is not professional. I'm gonna show up over there, and I'm gonna be like, oh damn, I need this small thing, and then I'm gonna have to do without it, improvise, or run back to the house. But I don't want to. Like I said, I enjoy having my tools at the house, and in a perfect world, I'd have all my tools in the same location, and all the projects I have. All the projects I have under one roof. That's the ideal situation, and that's the future. But for now, working with what I have, a storage unit that's close by. In fact, the closest one, and yeah, just put my tools to use. Continue on here. Also, little small detail, you know, it says Milwaukee Pack Out right there on the badges right there. This one just has the big Milwaukee Pack Out on there. Coming down here, so I got my Noco big boy. This is not the new version. I want to say they have a new version, but this will do me well. The GB 150, and yeah, and then this is a case I bought for it, obviously sold by Noco, and then it fits perfectly in there. So especially if you don't have it charged, which I probably should charge it. So after this video, I'll probably plug it in overnight and charge it, make sure it's good to go. So if I need it, I got it. This is a Easy Red battery cleaner thing, BMK 1914. You have the battery post cleaner, a couple of wrenches, spreaders, and a puller in here. So messing with older stuff, chances are you're gonna have battery issues. And I got some room in here to throw something small. All right, let's try to collapse this tripod here. See, like I said, I was definitely thinking about the US General cart, but I was like, well, that's not really mobile. As far as in that situation, I wouldn't be able to take this stuff back to the house, and then trying to roll that stuff between the storage units that I have. It's not really the best ideal situation. It's kind of, because you're not supposed to be working at a storage unit. So it's kind of like you got to do it on on the low. So you want to be incognito. All right, so again, I just threw some stuff in here. Like I said, I went on a road trip. I had some zip ties in here. In fact, it was given to me while I was on the road, because I was picking up an item, which eventually you guys will see. And then part of building out this toolbox is just grabbing random stuff that I really never use otherwise. You know, like this performance tool pick set. I thought it was only a pick set, but it's like miniature Torx and miniature screwdrivers. So sat in my box, never used it, so I figured might as well. You never know. I got these Klein electrical screwdrivers, so these might stay in here, and these might go in my electrical box. I have one for home. Then I just kept this random screwdriver, was already in here. You never know when you're gonna cut something, or you're gonna have to cut something. So I have two of these. This is a straight one. I have the angled one. You probably saw it in the toolbox store. These Pittsburgh long needle nose and angled wrenches. I got a box cutter in here. You're always gonna cut something. And then I just threw my Olsa set of wrenches in here. I'm missing one because I used it when I was on the road, but it's in the box somewhere. It was kind of hard to get to in the back of my Tacoma, So I just kind of tossed it in there. And so this stuff is not going to be built out and with foam or anything. It's literally just going to be tossed in here. I'll know what I need, and then when I don't need it, or if I notice I'm not really using it, or I need to make space for something else, I'm just going to reassess and take stuff out. So, but some of this stuff is very basic, and you'll always use them, like these needle nose, these cutters, knives, wrenches. And since some of the stuff that I'm working on is going to be older, I might upgrade these to like my, you know, RBRT stuff. We'll see. And that's the beauty of it being mobile. I can take it back, plan my workout. So I have a battery. I can test that light. So we'll put that up top. And let's just do this real quick. So I don't necessarily like leaving batteries inside of a tool. And so for me, that battery is gonna sit in there like that. And it won't bounce around too much. You know, stuff is not gonna get tossed around. But when I need it, I just slide it up there. Oops. Clicks in. And now, not gonna blind anybody, but should have light. Let there be light. Let there be light. So you can see I can pivot it whatever direction I want, and it's just gonna add supplemental light. And then this one over here. There we go. So that's kind of why I wanted it, just for this thing is mobile, so you can, well, I'm actually curious mode. Yeah, you know, it's just supplemental light. The storage place does have overhead light, but when you need more detail light, it might pay to just have that supplemental light, which you, aside from a flashlight. Where were we? Already did that. We're down here. This is not meant to be drawn out. So extra batteries. You can pay for the outlet over there, $25 a month if you need to use it. So there's that. So I got 2 of these Mac RBRTs, and I really like this sledge. 4-pound. It's really beefy, but I just like the look of it. Actually, I didn't even use it, but this is the more beat up one, as in older. And then I have another set of these in Genius. These non-ratchet offset. I figured they'll be good for like breaking old fasteners. So they stay in here. The drawer is not long enough for me to put them like that, so that's why you see stuff all kind of angled. And then the last one, obviously you can't do anything without power tools these days. Well, you can, but just a M18 driver. I can probably get away with an M12 and then leave this around the house, but this is a Surge. But I figure since I already have M18 batteries, then why not? But to be honest, I can just go with the M12. So we'll see what I do. I have 2 of these 3/8 stubbies, so I brought one. I just threw one in there. It's probably gonna stay in there permanently. I got an extension here, which fell out of here. But before that, we just brought our 3/8 long neck high speed Milwaukee ratchet. And then figure you just never know when you're gonna need some extensions, so I bought my 3-piece Proto lock-in extension here. And then this was for on the road, but I figure I might need some low profile sockets, and so I brought this for the road trip I was recently on. I don't even remember how I had this. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to suffice. So that's what I was saying. All of this stuff is gonna get removed and just I'm gonna be intimately familiar with what's in my box because I'm gonna access all the drawers because there's not that many. And actually, let's just lock this. There's not that many. So I'm gonna be very familiar with what's inside these boxes. Last drawer, set of drawers here. We'll zoom in here just for visibility. And actually we can lower this tripod all the way down. Let's just get these legs collapsed. Alright, so this is gonna be the last of it, and then I'm gonna be done for the night. So again, random hodgepodge of stuff. Never know, you're always gonna need some gloves to do something. This is my other tripod I use. My Astrolight, which I actually need to charge. This light and carry, if you watch my toolbox tour, you saw there's like 3 pieces. Well, this one was the one that was missing. So that's magnetic. Safety glasses. So stuff that's gonna stain there, stuff that you always wanna have. These gloves are all used, but if they're not torn or oily, I'm gonna reuse them. I just threw some air plugs in here, little foamies. These adapters will work perfectly with your M18 battery to provide USB charging for like your cell phone. And I also have a DeWalt version, so I need to get a smaller one of this for my trailer. This one did not work, so that's a reminder. You can never be without a padlock at a storage unit. And then I can take this out actually right now because that next one is in that Easy Red battery terminal. This is a Lang. So again, starting to revise stuff, and then I found an extra key lock for that cylinder lock for the storage, so I'll throw that out here. And this is just random. So this is what lives in here. Call it miscellaneous, but yeah. Down here, we got more M12 stuff. We just got several batteries, 4.0s, doesn't really matter. Some 2.0s, I think. Yep, no rhyme or reason. I got a crap ton of batteries. Then we got our 3/8, the OG. Leave it in there. And then we got this might be the high speed. Yeah, this is a high speed quarter drive. And then we got the OG quarter drive, small. These batteries, if they're on the there's a little seam in here, like point. So that's the thing. I took out all the dividers because the dividers are not going to work for me. So I took out all the dividers. Let's see. Something needs to go somewhere else. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, it works. So yeah, some batteries, and then I just threw a little Kinetics in here, the Baco, and then this is just an extension for a ball jack, or for my forklift jacks actually, since I got it used without a handle. So normally I'd have these up top. Yeah, normally I'd have these up top. Again, a random hodgepodge of stuff, no rhyme or reason. Just a random tire pressure gauge I never use. So also this one. So basically I started throwing some of the stuff I never use just to get some usage out of it, because I don't need to put this on my pocket or have this in my pocket because I'm not a real mechanic. Baco adjustable wrench, just can't go wrong. I might need a bigger one, who knows. Before I pile this up, I've been working on a lot of batteries, like helping a neighbor or something, and I seem to grab these snap-on long. Part of the case is in the tray, and the tray, it just stays on there with these notches. But I mean, CTA makes that, so you don't really need to go snap-on. Just a Milwaukee light. Can't have enough flashlight. I don't endorse putting stuff in your mouth, but I mean, if you need to, with that, these long Husky impact driver for sockets. So it has a 1/2, 3/8, and a 1/4 inch. Looks like this thing is magnetic. I got 2 breaker bars. This one has it's like a 1/2 inch to 3/8. It's a 1/2 inch, and I just put a 1/2 inch to 3/8 on there. And then this is just a 3/8 breaker bar. So no rhyme or reason. I think I just brought it for the road trip I just came from. Just a brush to clean up batteries. And then these Christmas special SAE Husky Allen keys. We got the metric. And so these will stay in here. This is the nut driver. You never know, something like this could come in handy. So I just leave them in here. Those will stay in there. The only snap-on ratchet I have is a 1/4 inch flex head. I guess you got to use snap-on with snap-on. So that stays in there. And then the short version of the Husky impact driver stuff. I threw this, actually. Never mind, this is part of this. So this is the 3/8 drive portion. Doesn't want to stay. So yeah, just my Ring camera thing. I figure I have like several of these, so I just threw it in here, just because you never know when you might need like a little stubby screwdriver. Brush, like I said, terminal, and then I haven't determined what kind of sockets I'm gonna throw in here, but I just threw some Tech 10 in here, 3/8 drive. Probably because the case fits nicely. Already have some gray pneumatic ones of those. So yeah, it's meant to evolve. It's meant for me to use my tools, think about what I need for the job, and go execute on that job as best as I can. So yeah, so this is my mobile. It's heavy. I haven't loaded this entire thing into my Tacoma yet, but chances are I'll just have to like take this portion off with all this stuff up top, and then I probably can do one box by itself or whatever it is. I'll just unlatch them and then latch them back in place. And like I said, it will probably spend some nights over there, and it will be just fine. It'll be secure. But the idea is that it always comes back to the house, so I can reassess, replenish. Especially some of the consumable stuff. I can replenish that stuff and go back out. And I mean, I'll still use stuff like this at the house also. It's not meant for mobile, so I'll use the stuff at the house. So that's why I rather have it where I'm at. But overall, it's pretty sturdy. It's expensive. I want to say this was like $200, just one box. So this whole setup is more than a US General tool cart. But when you're talking about being mobile, having mobility, this is kind of, in my opinion, the way to go. If I had all my gizmos and gadgets under one roof, a huge, shop, then I wouldn't need this. I would just have my icon and I would just walk for it or whatever. But, this is what I have. Like I said, the previous pack out I have, which I still have, is more meant for construction, because you have larger bins and Obviously, this is not really going to work for construction unless you have small fasteners or you get a bunch of these boxes, which this would get annoying. So that's partly why I have it up top. So I think for anything mechanical, mobile, automotive, like forklift maintenance, all that stuff, industrial maybe, this thing will work just fine. So anyway, I'm not going to keep making up reasons to justify why I have it. We'll continue the toolbox series. We'll see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. If my son doesn't wake up at 4:30, then I'll be well rested and I can knock that out. But as me always say, like and I hit your thing.